What's good, YouTube? This your boy Zell back with another video. This one gonna be a little more serious of a video. This one gonna be like a little strictly for sickle cell anemia, but it could also go to cancer patients. Some cancer patients take this medication. With this being said, this video right here is going to be about a medication called Hydroxyurea. And my history with it, what it's like supposed to do for you, and its side effects. Now, I had two trials with this medication. I was like 8 to 7 to 10 years old the first time I started taking it. The next times I started taking it was I was about 15 to 17 or 14 to 16. It's around those ages, 14 to 16. So, what hydroxyurea is, right? When I was taking it, the colors can vary, but when I was taking it, it was a little blue and orange, like orange looking pill, or blue and pinkish. I can't really remember the exact color. It's a capsule, and it's actually like a form of chemo, and it's a real potent form. It's a lower level of it, but it's still potent. It's an extremely potent chemotherapy treatment, but the things that it's supposed to improve on can help people with sickle cell too. And I'm gonna get into the chemo part and why that's important, was important for me. And I'm gonna get into also like the cons that happened to me, the things that happened to me, and the reason why I stopped taking it. It's also supposed to make your sickle cells more rounded, right? It's supposed to make them more rounded, more flexible, so they don't get stuck. They don't get stuck and cause pain crises and stuff. I already did a video about pain crisis. You guys can check that out. But our cells basically are sickle like a half a moon, and it's supposed to help with that. And it can also help with your hemoglobin level, which is your blood oxygen level, and the increase of red blood cells, making you, like, if you don't take blood transfusions a lot, it can raise your levels. It's supposed to be giving you, make you feel a little better, more stronger, make you have more energy throughout the day. Now, the way I'm talking about it, y'all might be like, that's a short shot. Why you stop taking it, right? But the side effects, right, is why I stopped taking it. As I said, and I'll get into more why I stopped taking it, because I'm going to explain everything to y'all. But the side effects is it lowers your white blood cell count. It can mess with, it can cause sickness, stomach and vomiting. It could cause, I said the white blood cell counts, sickness and stomach. Sometimes if it don't work correctly, your blood levels just don't improve at all. They can actually get worse in some cases. Now, with these things being said, right, I understand that the trials and processes, it work for other people with sickle cell, and it helps to improve them. Even people with cancer, it works for them, and it can help to extend your lifespan. They, as stated, it can help do all of these things. I'm gonna get to my story with this medication and why I stopped taking it. So the first time, right, when I started taking it, when I was a younger child, as an adolescent, I was like 7 to 10. I stopped taking it because I had started to, and when you start, you have to go to the hospital like every 2 months, every month or every 2 months. You're going to the hospital. They gotta draw your blood, make sure your blood level's doing good, that they didn't spike or nothing lower, or making sure they, or saying how the medicine working. Is it improving your situation? So I was going every once or every 2 months. Every month or every 2 months, I was going to get my blood drawn. I used to go to Children's Hospital up there in D.C. But for me, it did none of those things. So I was actually feeling weaker, right? I was feeling a whole lot weak. I used to go every day, and I used to go to school. I used to could not stay up. I could not stay up at all. I would just be feeling drained no matter what I did, whether I was outside playing with a friend or something, or if I was at school doing work or at recess. I just could not. I felt so weak. I need you to understand. I was like extremely weak. I felt nauseous, like I would throw up and stuff. And all of this is the side effects of the chemo part of the medicine. And like I was extremely weak. And the teachers would think I was just like slacking off, and it's like, nah, I'm not slacking off, or I'm not playing games. I'm just feeling I'm extremely messed up right now. I'm feeling extremely weak. Not only that, I said that it lowers your white blood cell count, so mine were lowering, and I was getting sick like that. I don't care what it was. It could be a common cold. If you even breathe around me wrong, I was getting sick. I was catching the flu more. I was catching pneumonia more. I was catching all these things. Still, me and my mother knew nothing. Like, we didn't know about the medicine too much, because when I was giving it, like when they was talking to my mother about it, they was saying what it can improve. They never said the side effects of the things. They never said anything about the side effects. So I was just literally getting sick. And I did this for a minute. We didn't know until the years came up, like about that second or third year. That's when my mother started like looking it up. She was like, hey, hold on, you getting sick of way too much. You shouldn't. You were getting sicker than when you was off the medicine. You're more sick than what you was when you was off the medicine. You know, like I was going way more. I had to go to the hospital way more. And like I said, the white blood cell, I was catching the flu, all of these things. The third thing that it did to me is it actually lowered my red blood cell count. It was lower than what it was. It was starting to spike some, and I was also having much more pain crisis. Like I would just hurt a whole lot more. My my body, I would get like crisis a lot, because when I was sick, sickle cell bothered me. When I was little, sickle cell bothered me the most. When I was young, in my adolescence years to my teenage years, that's when it was bothering me the most. So everything was just, I'm talking about, I was going to the hospital about at least like 100 times within those 3 years. I did it like 100. I went 100 times more, 100 times 1 year. Then I did like 90 the next year, like 98 times I had to go. Then I did like another 100 after that. I had to go a lot because I was just getting sick. I was getting fevers. If it wasn't the fevers, my sickle cell was bothering me. Now it can mess, and the reason why my red blood cell count was spiking is because I told y'all it lowers your while I was going down, it lowers your bone marrow functionality. So like you don't produce as much. It can do this. And as I said, most times when it comes to chances of something going wrong, it always happens to me. Like in most cases, if something goes wrong, if I got a percentage, oh, this is the percentage that this could go bad, and this is the other percentage that it could go well, it usually go bad for me. Especially like with these trial medications. And as I said, I was having so much, I was getting sick. And then the fourth thing that happened to me, I started losing clumps of my hair. It was like a hair loss thing. I started losing, like, people say it's supposed to be a little bit of hair loss, but it was not little to me. It was a lot of hair loss when I was a child. Like, I was losing a lot. My hair on the right hand side, like, I had big patches of hair coming off. Half my eyebrow had came off. And my brother was the one who spotted it first. He spotted it and he told my mother. He was like, Mom, look, Zell missing hair. I didn't even know. He was like, he got big patches of hair missing. And my eyebrow, he's like, look at his. Then after that, like a day later after that, some weeks later, I ain't gonna say a day later, some weeks later, the eyebrow did the same thing. And that's when we really noticed. And my mom was like, I wonder what's going on. Why is he losing his hair? And why is he getting sicker? And she looked it up and she found out like all of the side effects, the trials and all of that with hydroxyurea. And she found out all of these things that I'm mentioning to y'all, the side effects. She found out that it was a chemotherapy thing. And as I said this once in the beginning of the vid, this is not to anybody that it helps, because it do help people with sickle cell. It do make some people better, even with cancer. But for me, because everybody's body is different, it just completely destroyed my way of living. I was sick most of the times. The second time I did it, I did the trial. My hematologist, he just recommended it. He wanted me to try it again. He was like, I think if you do it, because this is around the time, like my mid to late teens, I stopped going as much to the hospital, but I was still going. I was still having a frequent amount. I was going about, I'd say about 50, like 50, 40s, and some 30s. He was like, look, if we do this, that might go down. I understand it didn't work. It didn't work the way it was supposed to. You don't believe it worked the way it was supposed to the first time, but just give it a try again. Just try it for a while. And I did it again for like a year or two. And the same things was happening to me again. The exact same things. So I'm in high school now though. And now it's affecting my work. Like when I'm in high school, it's affecting me. I'm sick, I'm weak. I was extremely weak. I couldn't stay up through a class. Like I just felt so lightheaded all the time. And so tired and drained. And my teachers used to say to me, you whatever it is going on at home, you need to fix that, because it's affecting you. And they used to tell me, they used to think I was slacking off. They was like, you not taking advantage of your situation, not knowing the whole time I started a new medication. I had started a new medication, and this medication it's not new to me, but I started it again, and it was completely like destroying me. And not only that, I was aching again. I was having way more frequent pain crisis again. I was getting sick again too. And this is around the 2009, 2010, and 11 era. And y'all know that's like when the flu came out, the swine flu. When that came out, I didn't get that, but I did get a real bad flu, because I couldn't even fight nothing off. I wound up being around somebody who had it. And it completely, like, it almost took me out. I'm going to say it like that. I ain't going to go real deep into that story, but it almost took me out. And the pain crisis was way worse again. It was just it wasn't just aches no more. Every time I would get into a pain crisis, it was never like a little small or minor one I could take medicine for and be done. It was an extremely bad one that I used to have to go to the hospital for. And my blood levels would just be low. I wonder why it's getting low. It's the same thing. As I told y'all before, the same thing was happening. Everything was just lower. I was getting sick on my stomach again. I was feeling weaker again. So after that happened, and I was in the hospital, my hematologist came to see me. And I remember that last year, I told him, I don't care if you keep writing it down as a prescription to me, I'm never taking it again. I'm not doing it again. I remember saying it, and I was very serious, and I said, and my mother and father was there. I told them, I'm never doing this again. Don't ask me to take it again, because it's making me extremely sick, man. It's not working for me. The things y'all saying it's supposed to do for me, and my hair was starting to come out again. It was starting to come out again. Now that's not much of a big deal, but the other side effects are worse. But that, I was getting all those side effects, plus my hair was falling out and nothing was working. I wouldn't even have cared if it was making me feel better if my hair was falling out. But you gotta think, I was a teenager too. I'm like, it was messing with my self-esteem, so I'm seeing my hair do that. And not only that, the side effects too. I wouldn't have cared. As I said, I would not have cared. I kept taking it if it was working for me. If my blood levels was increasing, I would not have cared. If I was having less frequent hospital visits, I would not have cared. I wouldn't have cared. But a lot of people, as I said, with this medicine, they use it for cancers, but it can work real good, quote unquote, for sickle cell people. It works very good if you have sickle cell anemia. And that was another thing. It made my anemia worse. So with the bone marrow side effect, that's what it does. It makes your anemia much, much, much worse if you already had it. So on top of that, I'm cold all the time. I mean, the slightest, it could be 68 degrees, 70 degrees. I felt like it was below 20. I was extremely cold all the time. Like, just shivering for no reason. I was extremely tore up when I took this medicine. And it's just like, I take it like, because I grew up around being in that hospital a lot, children's hospital, and I grew up like the sickle cell wing and the cancer wing are on the same level in the hospital, the same side. So I had a lot of friends who had cancer and sickle cell like me too, a lot of people. And for some of the cancer patients, and I knew people personally who had it too, they was like they felt better until they started the chemo treatment, and some people like the chemo saved their life. So I'm guessing that's what happened to me. Like, I got the worst sides of the hydroxyurea with the little bit of the chemo. Like, as I said, it's a smaller version of chemo. And some people say, as you look with people with cancer, I saw some people, they was always weak all the time. They got sicker. That process that made them sicker. But other people, they was good when they was on it. Me, it destroyed me. It did not work well for me, and that is all I am saying. No disrespect to any hematologist or doctor that gives their patient this, because I know that it works for them in trials, but for me, it was extremely bad. That's all I'm saying. And that is why I got off of hydroxyurea and I stopped taking it, because I was literally, and then as soon as I stopped, again, when I was a teen, everything went back to normal, and I even stopped getting sick as sick as I was, because I think I was like 16 or 17 when I stopped. As I said, I was taking it from 14 or 15 to that time to 17, and by the time that happened, I stopped taking it. I just stopped getting sick, and this is around the time the crises were not as frequent. As I got older, it stopped affecting me so much. My sickle cell don't affect me a lot. It does now. Like, I still ache and stuff and get to points where I don't have to go, where I can't do nothing, but I don't have to go to the hospital. I do be like in the bed, though. I be a little bit bedridden sometimes, but it don't be as worse as things were when I was a child. When I was a child, dude, I used to be in the hospital all the time. I practically lived there. It was a second home to me. Please share this video. Share this video, because I think it can reach a lot of other people with this disease, sickle cell anemia disease. This was a lot more serious video. I hope that you guys share it and like it. I know it's not the entertaining video like how I will put up, but I feel it's something that need to be said. And even to the cancer patients, as I said, I'm not knocking any of that. It probably did help for y'all and stuff, but for me, it was no good. I see y'all, man. I'll do another video a little later. Peace.